a teenager is hard, not just for our adolescents, but also for the parents and caretakers in their life. It is a season with a lot of firsts. We know that the brain and body are going through major developments, which look like hormone bursts and peer pressure, and a desire for more independence. The focus is on peer relationships over family relationships. And so as a parent, it can be easy to pull away as well. As they're pulling away from us and seeking friendship over us, it can be easy to push them away. But we want to challenge you to really pursue relationship with your teenager during this season. We know so often that the behaviors that we see in our teens are bigger and they're scarier and they're more intense. And again, our first reaction is we want to protect them against the long-term consequences that might come with those behaviors. So often our first reaction is to focus on the behavior. But just like for our little kids, what we know is that there is a need behind those behaviors. That so often the behaviors that we see is the language that they're trying to use to tell us that something is off in their life. So sometimes maybe your teen is coming home from school and the behavior looks like they walk through that door and they roll their eyes at you and they throw their book bag and go to their room and slam the door. And it can be so easy to focus on that behavior and correcting that behavior, when what we're missing is that they had a really hard day. Maybe they walked through a breakup, maybe they failed a test and they don't know how to deal with all of those emotions. And so we see this big, scary behavior. And we want to really challenge you that even as our kids get older, to really focus on the need behind the behavior. And so when you're working with your teens and when you're dealing with teens, you have to find creative ways to really pursue them and build that connection. And we're going to give you a few practical ways to do this. The first way is to find ways to be resourceful in your teenager's life. And so again, they're experiencing a lot of firsts. Maybe they're applying to a job for the first time. Maybe they're learning how to drive, or they're figuring out what they want to do for college or a career. And so one of the best ways as a parent or a caretaker is to find ways to be resourceful and help them. Don't wait for them to come to you and say that they're overwhelmed, but instead maybe take a Saturday if you know they're interested in finding a part-time job. Go together and get applications and apply to jobs with them. Help them practice the interview questions. Again, then you're not just helping them with this new thing in their life, but you're also finding ways to connect with them. The next way is to find ways to be relevant. And this can be really hard with our teenagers because they are into things that we do not understand, we don't maybe approve of. And so it can be so easy to focus on changing what they're into. But we're going to challenge you to instead learn about your child. Find out what speaks to them. That is their world. And so take time in a non-judgmental way to listen to their music, to find out what they're filling their minds with. Get to know their friends, maybe invite them over for dinner or include them in family activities. And then the last way is to find ways to be real. And this is so important. Our kids do not need perfect parents. It can be so easy to want to be perfect when we show up in our teenagers' lives. But what they really need is they need authenticity and they need vulnerability. And so this might look like just modeling emotion and saying, hey, I'm having a hard day too. I'm going to go fill myself with the Lord. I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to, maybe drink a cup of water before I come back here and handle this. Maybe it looks like how you handle failures in your own life by teaching them the lessons through how you show up in the relationships in your life. Find ways to be real and to connect in that authenticity. And we also know that discipline is super important, right? We so often hear from our parents, but they need lessons and they need consequences and we want to protect them from all of these things. And that is so important. But we want to challenge you to lead with relationship. We want you to provide discipline in a way that empowers them through lessons, through teaching them, through holding their hand. At the end of the day, we want your child to know it's me and you against this problem, right? We think about how Jesus disciples us. He shows up with love and grace, and even when I miss the mark, every single day he pursues me. And I know there's seasons where I push him away, but he chases after me. And it's through gaining my heart, that it changes my behavior. So we encourage you to do the same for your teenager. Pursue their heart and you will see the behavior change.